Hey everyone, what's going on? Joey here, and yesterday on the community tab of YouTube, which is a tab you can go and interact with us, I asked you guys, who do you want me to reveal next on the show? And out of the 2,000 people who voted, half of you, actually more than half, 52% of you said, hey, could you reveal who's under the mask of the Chameleon? So that's what we're doing right now. We're going to go through the clues and the pitch correct audio and compare the voices and answer the clues. And so before we get started, make sure you subscribe, you turn on notifications, and you give this video a thumbs up. If you do those things, it really helps out the channel. Plus, we're trying to hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of this season. Anyway, let's get started. So yes, you've now had 2 episodes, 2 weeks of clues and performances for the Chameleon, and now it's time to finally go ahead and reveal who is under this mask. And before we even dive into the clues, one of the big things you gotta look at right now is the stature of this costume. This person has to be over 6 foot. They have to be thin, right? And according to his rapping / singing things, has to be some kind of rapper. So think about that as we go through the clues. Let me put him back over here. We do have other reveal videos already on our page. We revealed, we did the Phoenix before that happened, and these guys, but we do have one for the seashell you can go check out, and we also leaked on who was under the mask of the Robo Pine, which at this rate, we should make a reveal video for that person, but next week we get to see Group B perform again. It's the Group B finals, so you will see, and there's no wild card for the crab, but you'll see the piglet, the crab, the black swan, and the chameleon, so you at least will know who's under the mask of the chameleon, who at this point, it's either him or the piglet, which will be sent home next week. So we'll probably do reveal him now, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, Joey was right. So anyway, let's go through the clues. As I said before, we have 2 weeks of clues. I'm going to read them in their entirety, and we'll go through the pitch correct and all these other things. We'll compare the singing voice. So we're going to start off with episode 2, because that was the first time we saw him. He said, unlike most of my fellow chams, I just don't blend in. I put the tech in Technicolor. It was all because of my pops, who taught me to keep up with the times. He encouraged me to tinker with every gizmo and gadget around, even with some wild creations. Years later, when my career almost tanked and I almost felt lost, I leaned back on what he taught me. I used those tech-savvy skills from my childhood to amplify my career and change the game. And now I'm here to change this game. Trust me, I won't be blending in. The visual clues were it was 2 dice on his motorcycle. One was a 2, one was a 3. They're not saying 2 plus 3, but remember those numbers, 23. We saw a lot of old tech equipment, which kind of points at his age, where he could be either a late 80s or a early 90s baby. We see the number 007, like James Bond. We saw IT on the book, video games, and a sign that says beware of pit signs. So pit right there, kind of important. After that, we saw him again for episode 4. He says, my whole life has been around embracing what makes me unique. And I make it my quest to help others shine too. When I was young, someone inseparable from me was constantly attacked for who she was. It was hard to witness, but I helped lift her up until she ultimately learned to embrace what made her unique. But then tragedy struck, and she was taken from me. It was the most difficult thing I think I ever faced. Now I honor her memory by fighting for those who don't feel accepted, because I want everyone to feel proud, showing their true colors. Visual clues showed a graduation hat. We saw a cheese, a taxi with peaches, Taylor supplies, and then we had that childhood clue, someone who they had their crush about, and his was Salma Hayek. And I really don't think it's a clue. I think maybe that was just kind of like him just saying that was someone he had a crush on growing up. But anyway, those are all the clues. Not too many, and if you notice, the bulk of the first and the second one are really just talking about 2 people. The first one, mostly about his dad. His second one, about someone else that was taken away from him, which maybe once we go through and reveal who it is, we'll talk about who this person was and, how meaningful this person was to them. Anyway, let's go through the pitch correct audio. If you have no idea what it is, well, welcome to my channel. It's probably the first time you've been on here, but I'm an executive audio producer in New York City, where it's my job to go ahead and give audio to my clients. And when that audio sounds bad, it's my job to make it sound good. And in the case of The Masked Singer, every single week we have these brand new clue packages where the celebrity is giving us clues about themselves. But Fox is smart. They're like, hey, look, guys, we can let people hear the real voices, because if we do, people are going to recognize it. So they take the voice, they speed it up, they pitch it up, and then you have no idea who it is. But doing what I do, I'm like, hey, guys, we could slow it down and pitch correct it. That way we can hear the real celebrity voice. Now, that plus the clues, we can go ahead and compare the audio and say it's this person, that matches up, blah, blah, blah. And using this method, we've gotten everyone right except for one since season 1 of episode 1 of The Masked Singer, and we've done Masked Dancer. So we're kind of on a roll right now. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and play just a little bit of the audio they gave us. Now, I kind of changed it up over time. Sometimes we're doing it from the clue package. Other times we're doing it when the judges are speaking to the character, or vice versa. And so I kind of like that better. The audio sounds, I'll say, more crisp. And so that's what we're going with today. So I'm going to play the audio they gave us and then my pitch correct audio. Here you go.
I got a thing for hot ladies. And this chick right here is smoking. I got a thing for hot ladies. And this chick right here is smoking.
And now you're probably saying to yourself, wow, Joey, that voice sounds familiar. I've heard him singing on the radio, or I've seen him in interviews. Or, I mean, you've seen him with Charlie Puth, right? Now, my guess for you guys is, I mean, a lot of people have, I put a poll out not too long ago, and it's funny how right now it's only about 45% of people are actually guessing this one person. And that one person is Wiz Khalifa. That's right, stay with me here. Let's go ahead and compare him speaking in an interview to the audio that we have. Here you go.
I got a thing for hot ladies. And this chick right here is smoking.
It's different because I look at my son and how I separate his food and how he picks whichever one he wants.
Now let's compare him singing. Now, he did sing for his first performance. The second one, 50 cents, whatever, he rapped for it, which kind of, that really was like the nail in the coffin. It was kind of like, come on, dude, we know that's you. But let's go ahead and just compare that for a second. Here you go. All right, so you can see right there. Look, that's him. It sounds like him, but Joey, why don't you answer some of these clues? We gotta know. Answer the clues. Fine, we'll do that right now. Now, the one thing I do also have to point out is the fact that for both of his packages where he's kind of talking, it's mostly just about two people. One talking about his dad, always giving him advice and helping him out. Remember, his father was in the military. They're always traveling everywhere. He was kind of close to his dad, and I do believe his parents were separated, and he felt closer to his dad. In an interview by The Fatherhood, which is obviously something I've never heard of before, I didn't realize that this was even a thing, he goes on to say that his pops always helped him growing up. Always gave him advice, and that's pretty much what he says here, where he says right here, where he says, unlike most of my fellow champs, I don't blend in, I put the Technicolor. My pops always taught me how to keep up with the times. He encouraged me to tinker with every gizmo and gadget, so on and so forth. I mean, he goes on and on about his father. And in interviews, even online, he talks about how important his father is on the man that he is today. He seems like a very, very family-based person. I mean, he talks about his family a lot right now, his own child, and his mother and father, and his lost sister, which we'll talk about a little bit later. After that, it was mostly just visual clues. We saw the 2 dice on the motorcycle, which stands for 23, which was a song he did with Miley Cyrus and Juicy J. After that, we saw the number 007, which are like James Bond. Yes, well, Wiz kind of did like his own playoff of James Bond. It was called James Bong. Like a bong? Yeah, you got it? Quite clever clues right there, you have to admit right there. We saw IT written on the book. Well, he's spoken in years past about how the internet truly has gotten him to connect with his fans. I mean, he's gotten really famous. Not to say that he wasn't famous before Black and Yellow. He was pretty big, but See You Again, which was his song with Charlie Puth, that song was the biggest. I mean, that got diamond certified, which we'll bring that up a little bit later on today, or in this episode. Today in this episode. How about that? Why not? After that, we saw video games. He released a video game back in 2007, which is called Weed Farm. Don't do weed. Anyway, after that, we saw Beware of the Pit Games. After that, we saw a sign that says Beware of Pit Sign, and he grew up in Pittsburgh. Kind of works right there. Anyway, after that was episode 4 this past week. There's a lot of clues in here, but the biggest thing is him talking about someone he lost and telling everyone they need to be themselves. Because when I was young, someone inseparable from me was constantly attacked for who she was. It was hard to witness, but I helped her lift up until she ultimately embraced who she was. But then tragedy struck and she was taken away from me. Well, he did have a transgender sister named Dorian Lala who died in 2017. And we do know that she was, really attacked online about who she was. And Wiz really helped her through this, teaching her like, hey, just be yourself. It's going to be okay. You know, there's a lot of people who are going through the world right now that can't be themselves and don't have the strength to be themselves. And Wiz was trying to be the best brother ever. To be like, you can do this, just be you, and life is going to be okay. But unfortunately, she passed in 2017. And he still kind of, if you listen to his lyrics, he talks about always wanting to be yourself. Always be yourself in his lyrics. And most importantly, he's got life experience for that. And he's trying to show everyone it's okay. Be who you want to be. You know, don't worry about stereotypes and the way people want you to be. You be what makes you happy. Okay? Seriously, that's actually coming from me. Do what makes you happy. You know, find a job that makes you smile, that you never have to work a day in your life. Do something that you don't go into and say, oh my gosh, this isn't fun. Just be you. I know it's very easy to say, but there's a lot of people in the world that could use some encouragement of, hey, get out of your comfort zone, of the norm, and just see what makes you happy. Anyway, enough of my rant. Let's continue on. He goes on to say, I want everyone to feel proud, showing their true colors. He did have a song with Nicki Minaj called True Colors right there. Now after that was the visual clues. You saw the blue graduation cap. Well, we do know that his school colors were blue, and he eventually went back to go perform for them. We saw the cheese. He had a song that came out. I don't know the name of it. I know the name. It's just confusing. It's Chicken with the Cheese. Kind of worked right there. Then we saw the taxi with the peaches. The peaches don't really refer to Georgia, but his mother's name is Peachy. I honestly, I was really surprised. It was a really good hit right there. And then the taxi itself is also a clue, because Black and Yellow, that was a big song of his. We saw the Taylor Supplies, which was clever. He has his own record label called Taylor Gang. You like that? Do you like what he did there? And that also relates all the way back to when he was in high school, because I can't pronounce the school, but it was like Taylor Atcha something high school. And so that's where you kind of get the Taylor Gang from. Anyway, after that, we have some extra clues from Cludle-Doo, who says, from week 2, Chameleon has a history of precious gems. Well, as we said before, See You Again was diamond certified. And if you go back to who he was married to, he got married in 2013 to Amber Rose. Amber is sometimes known as a precious, maybe not a gem, but it is, people consider it a gem from time to time because they shave it down, they put it in the rings and things. So that could also mean that. And just a couple other things I want to add in there with the master list of clues. He has 10 Grammy nominations. He has 3 platinum records and 2 gold records. So looking at our master list, there was 26 nominations for the Grammys, and so you can now eliminate 10 of those, and 25 gold and platinum records, so you get 5 you can get rid of right there, which means there's still a big singer on this, and we know who it is. What are you doing, Mr. Crab? I don't have a photo for him yet, but Mr. Crab! And you also got the Swan over here, and while we're at it, you also got these cool characters. Yeah, I know. We kind of have an idea of who these folks are. We just got these 2 wild cards, the Yeti and the pitbull slash mutt, whatever we're calling it. We're calling it so many different things, but the only other thing I want to add in is that Wiz has a ton of tattoos, so that's definitely going to help us with the other ones. You know, Danny had a ton of them too, and so does Wiz, so that kind of counts. There's no listing online talking about how many tattoos he has. That clue is kind of pointless at this second. I mean, there's no way of counting that. Anyway, let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you think it's Wiz? I think it's great they got him on. I mean, you look at his shape. He's what, 6'4"? That kind of fits the character. He's nice and thin. That fits the character too. So let me know once again in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. We're trying to hit that 40K, and you can help us. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm Joey. Stay safe, everyone. See you later. Bye.